Hello, buddy. It's Guy here, and welcome back for another episode of the Guy Talk. In today's episode, we are featured by the lovely Baldwin Jr. He was the voice of DogDay and the Doctor. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of the Doctor. He is one of my favorite indie villains of all time. He was underutilized in Chapter 4, but I still really liked him. I think he was still really cool. But yeah, without further ado, let's just hop straight into the video. Okay, hello everybody, welcome to the second episode of the Guy Talk. Today we are joined by Baldwin, which voiced DogDay and the Doctor. I don't hide it that the Doctor is one of my favorite indie villains of all time. I love his demeanor. So, Baldwin, if you want to explain a little bit about yourself before we get started on the question, that would be greatly appreciated.
Sure. Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Baldwin Williams Jr. I am a content creator and voice actor. You might know my work from Poppy Playtime, from voicing Bigger Body Dog Day and Dr. Harley Sawyer. I love voice acting. I love just video games, animation, the creative realm as a whole. And yeah, that's really about me in a nutshell.
That's amazing. Alrighty, let's get straight into the questions. So we're gonna start with the beginning questions, obviously. So, what got you into voice acting?
I would say what got me into voice acting was really just from the early years of watching a copious amounts of cartoons and just playing video games when I was able to. And at one point, because I always saw the credits, but I didn't really, I mean, I read them, but I didn't understand them. But
Right.
it clicked to me that people got paid to do those voices of the various different characters and whatnot. And Abram, I was shocked because I was just like, they get paid for that? Could I get paid for that? So, yeah. And from there, I started like doing like, I started doing like, small voiceover things and, post them on the internet under a different name. I'm not going to say that name. I scrubbed all the videos, but like before Poppy Playtime, before any of this happened, I'm just like, I don't need, like, it wasn't even bad. It just cringe. And I'm just like, each time I hear like 11 or 10-year-old Baldwin, I take 99 damage. If for any reason that those videos came out and everything and whatnot of me doing like Sonic impressions and Dr. Eggman impressions, I will literally just like evaporate. Again, nothing bad, nothing questionable. I just cringe because, again, kid me stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah,
I
but
also.
oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but yeah, to answer your question, you know, just watching cartoons and everything and whatnot. And oh, my bad, I didn't fully answer that because I talked about the beginning, but like how it led into. In a nutshell, in my late college years, I was able to do like content videos, and eventually, when I got into TikTok, I went viral, and then from there, I've been able to do more cat voiceover videos. Then from there, I posted it on Twitter, and then Mob Entertainment saw it. And of course, by that time, I've done like few indie stuff, but never to the level of Poppy Playtime. And
Right.
then from there, yeah.
Funny enough, I've actually kind of, not to be a creep or anything, but I have been kind of stalking your TikTok account. It keeps coming up on my feed, so I'm like, all right, you know what, bet. I guess I'm binge watching
Hey,
Baldwin now.
listen. No, I completely understand because like even people that like I've been told by my friends that like I've popped up on their FYP pages or I've popped up on their friends' FYP pages. And I'm just like, dang, I can't hide. I really can't hide now.
No, no, you cannot. I've always wanted to get into the voice acting space. It's just kind of difficult now that I'm trying to focus on YouTube and my game. It's very
Right.
difficult. Uh oh yeah, and the baby thing. Not exactly the easiest thing to juggle all three of those things in an easy manner. And so I mean, on the bright
Yeah.
side, you got your whole voice acting thing from cartoons.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. It was really that love.
yeah, absolutely. Alrighty. Were there any careers you were considering before voice acting or besides voice acting, I should say?
Well, this is like a while back, and even now, what's the word? Like, I'm somewhat approaching this path, but not like, oh yeah, like absolute professional. Um, for a while, actually, I used to consider being an animator. I very much considered that, but honestly, the only reason why I stopped was because at that time I'm like, 2D animation might be a lot for me because I was like a kid at this point. I have like my dad bought Richard Williams the animator survival kit. I still have that book from years back. Um, I thought about it. I thought about that. I thought about being a medical illustrator because I used to draw a lot as a kid. But honestly, like after I figured that, like, oh, I'm gonna have to draw a human anatomy. I'm like, might not be for me. Um, other than that, yeah, like I mean, of course, like for my, I guess regular 9 to 5, so to say, like something to put food on the table. I thought about being cameraman and everything and whatnot. It's funny because like in in a way I was able to be a cameraman, but not in the way that I thought looking back. And I'll be able to explain that like oh I actually let me explain that now. Let me not. One of my favorite roles I ever done was voicing a character by the name of Nightgo in Motanimation's animated animatic pilot Cameraman. It has about like 1.7 million views on YouTube.
Dang.
It was a really successful video, and because not Savannah, Montana went to SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design, and I met her at a summit, I believe 2023, 2024, and yeah, I'm just glad that like I was able to be a part of that. It's one of my favorite projects I ever worked on.
I never seen it, but I believe it. You always gotta have that like favorite project that just really like it's just a lot of fun to be a part of. I mean, I know I have a lot of
Indeed.
those, so I understand. Um, I don't know. Do you have any hobbies outside of voice acting?
Writing, video games. I need to get back to cooking. Reading. I need to do a little bit more reading because I've been trying to be more like I like reading, hearing people's life stories, and more specifically, like know what I guess like their expertise in a matter because I know, or at least because one of my favorite books is named "Born a Crime" by Trevor Noah, and it's very refreshing to see, well, not see, but to read a book with such wit, but with such genuine wisdom, and like I like be able to get into people's minds and be able to hear their perspective and be able to learn from them.
Oh, I completely agree. I also am a big fan of that. I just like learning about people's experience on like, whether it be, going on YouTube or voice acting or drawing. I just love it all. I think it's really interesting to kind of learn how did someone get to that point. Um it's always been just fun to kind of just watch that happen or unfold over the years of being an indie fan. specifically. So yeah, I completely understand. uh, any other fun hobbies you got?
Oh, that's really about it, honestly.
All right, so we will be moving on to the mob questions. Um, what is your experience working with mob? Because I know that they've, at least over the years, they've had a little bit of controversy, which we won't get into, but it's just like, from what I understand, is it's a good place, but I'd like to hear your experience with mob.
It's actually been I would say very chill. I would say in the beginning, they're a little bit more transparent and, like, of course, not leaving me in the dark about certain things. Because, of course, like, I know the people that were there when I came in, unfortunately, are no longer there. And, of course, that's just live stuff. Uh, I will
Uh,
say,
Go ahead.
no worries. I'll just say I will say that I miss a little bit more of the transparency and making sure that we're all in the loop. Because I'm trying to make sure I'm careful with my words here.
Could you describe a little bit more on what you mean by transparency?
When I say transparency, I mean more so of like, hey, this is what we're working on and everything and whatnot. But like from 2022 onwards, like I would say maybe like like after chapter 3 going to chapter 4 thing. I mean, of course they would be able to talk to me saying thing, hey, we want to do this and everything whatnot. But like I would more so just be left out in the dark and whatnot for certain things.
Okay, that makes that's
Yeah,
kind of
I can actually give
unfortunate.
yeah, but of course I know like life things happens.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
for example, before before anything came out for chapter 4, I was able to see Harley Sawyer's robot design. And of course, I was like, wow, this is very cool. And of course, like during that moment, I'm just like, I'm not losing my job. I'm not gonna do like because I know people could be like, oh, you could leak stuff. I'm like, no, I'm a professional
Yeah, what are you
first and
talking about?
foremost.
Leak stuff? I mean,
Exactly.
no.
Like, because I see people, we've seen people try to be the individuals that gets the story out first and everything and whatnot. And of course, I understand for security purposes, like, that level of transparency and just, I guess, sharing things, like, it has, that path has narrowed. And of course, not due to any negligence from my part.
Yeah,
But I guess, like, from, like, the top down, like, things have to be a tighter ship, if you will.
like I hate leaks with a passion. I think that they can ruin the experience because I'm sure you aware. I'm sure the entire mob knows someone leaked the prototype design only. I'm not happy about that. That's so dumb because it's ruining the experience to other people. Luckily, I was fortunate enough not to see it, so I got to experience it firsthand. I don't know how I avoided it, but I did, and I'm happy about that. But
I'm glad.
uh, it's
I
just dumb.
I remember because I was able to see the design for the prototype a couple months back before anything dropped, and of course kept my mouth shut.
Yeah, obviously.
When when I believe it was 2 days before Chapter 5 released, and that when I saw that it got leaked, I went to one of my contacts at Mob and I said, "Hey, is this true?" Like, or Anixa, is this true? But I'm like, I don't know if you're seeing this, but I think you should be seeing this. And they're like, we are aware. I'm like, oh, this is bad. Because, of course, since you played chapter 5, when I saw that, I got nervous because I got nervous thinking, oh my gosh, if the prototype got leaked, do they know about the doctor?
I honestly like I was not expecting the doctor to show up at all, so I'm glad he didn't get spoiled. We'll get into that in a little bit
Yeah,
later, but yeah,
right.
the whole I don't know. I feel like people just need to like not do that because it got so bad to the point where I had to cancel my interview with Amber because of the fact that it got leaked. So he said, so Mom said anybody who has worked on the technicality side of Poppy Playtime cannot do interviews right now.
I
That's
see.
yeah, that's how bad it got. So I can only do voice actors, but that's beside the point. I think leaks are dumb, and people need to go crazy. People need to stop leaking stuff early and just let people have fun experiencing it for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, they just need to respect the craft and just be patient. I forget who leaked what because I've heard some whispers it was a content creator. I've heard other whispers that it was internal. I don't know how they dealt with it, but I know they did.
I heard that it might have been C one of CD5's animators, but
Hmm.
I don't believe it. I don't know who it is, and I don't see CG5 has like a really good relationship with mobs, so I don't see that ever happening. Um, especially with him. Yeah, I'm hoping that chapter 6 does a little bit better at keeping things on a tight lid, and they're a little bit more cautious, which they shouldn't have to be super cautious with these things. You know, I feel like this is
Yeah,
just kind of ridiculous.
indeed.
Anywho, next question. What was your reaction when getting casted as Harley Sawyer on Dog Day?
When I got cast as Harley Sawyer, this was back in 2022. For those who don't know, I was able to get the role through doing my cat TikTok voiceover videos. And when Mob saw it, they were like, hey, would you like to voice our mysterious villain character? And I was like, absolutely. With that, when I there were internal auditions to voice Dog Day, and with it, with that internal audition, I was like, hey, because at that point, Harley Sawyer was going to be in chapter 3, but as a VHS tape. And when I saw Nightmare Radio Voice and Dog Day, I figured, this could be a good opportunity to be able to say that you voiced 3 characters in Poppy Playtime Chapter 3. That looked very good on your IMDb. And I figured, why not? So I auditioned, and after 2 rounds, I was able to get Nightmare Radio Voice and Dog Day. How I felt grateful, grateful, because at that point, Harley Sawyer didn't have like a presence, so to say. Lore wise, yes, but not really came to like physical appearance. That would have come later, come until later. And for Dog Day, when I got the role and I got the script, I was hoping that like, okay, maybe I have like a couple paragraphs and everything and whatnot for different scenes. And then when I found out it was basically just one page, I got a bit intimidated because I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is one page. I need to lock in
Would you say that Harley
because if I
Sawyer
only
is
have this, hmm?
would you say that Harley Sawyer is like the biggest role you ever voiced? Like as far as like
Honestly,
how long, like how many lines he had and stuff like that.
I would say so. I would say so. He had the most lines because again, bro's a yapper,
Oh my
and
god, don't even get me started.
yeah, man. But for Dog Day, I realize that like I need to make sure that like I bring my all into this performance to make sure that like it's received, decently. Like not received well, received decently. Because again, like to like you and anybody and everybody watching this interview, you've been on the internet. You've
Yeah.
seen how mean people can be, how vile people can be.
Oh,
So I
absolutely.
know for me, I need to make sure that like I bring my A game because I don't want to have it be the fact that like, oh, I mean, the guy tried. No, I want to do my best. And even for me, I have a personal standard of because like I used to be in choir in high school, and my choir director would always say, "Good is the enemy of great." And I'm like, I don't want to be good. I want to be great. And especially for voiceover, I want to make sure I'm as great as possible. I don't really care about being, the greatest or whatever. I just want to do my best. That's it. Let the work
Yeah,
speak for itself.
exactly. I I will say the dog day portion in chapter 3 is probably one of my favorite sections.
Hmm.
I just it's so horrifying to think about like the smiling critters just crawling inside of him. Oh my god. And then his monologue was oh my god, I love that monologue. That was beautiful. Your
Thank
puppy's
you.
angel. Like yes. Yes, I am. The one and only. I love. I love chapter 3. I don't think any chapter is gonna beat that. I'm gonna be honest.
I understand.
Alrighty.
I
So,
understand.
were there any other roles you auditioned for, or was Harley and Darkrai the only ones?
Um, Aside from those two Nightmare Radio voice, but other than that, no.
Again, I don't really know how voice acting works. I don't know if there's like multiple roles that you guys have to audition for or not. So it's definitely interesting that they didn't like try to get you to voice any. But I guess it makes sense because they did kind of have, from what I understand, it they did kind of have a role in mind for your voice in particular.
Hmm.
So it kind of makes sense that you were only voicing Dog Day and Harley to begin with.
Yeah, and if memory serves correctly, there were other roles, but like I know there was like for kids and women roles. And at least from the guys thing, there weren't besides like Dog Day and like Nightmare Radio voice. If memory serves me correctly, there weren't any other roles that kind of grabbed me,
Huh. I mean,
or at least vocally that I could do. Hmm?
that's so fair because Harley and Dog Day are literally the best. So I can't blame you there. I love them.
Yeah, man. Plus, I don't think having a 6 year old be like, I want to go up on the merry-go-round and like in that voice, I don't think that's believable.
Yeah,
I know,
that's
and
just
because I
not
know
happening.
because like I know some people say, "Oh, do a kid voice." I'm just like, no, that's not in my repertoire. That's not my thing. There are a few people that could do that who are adult men that could do kid voices and have it sound believable. I am not one of those individuals. That's not because I don't want to, but like it's not to a point that like where I can believe it, you know? Like
Yeah.
teenage, absolutely. I can do. Young adult, absolutely. But like 6 to 7 year old kid, it's just not within my repertoire, literally vocally.
No, that's so fair. I kind of feel the same way. Not with voice acting, but like especially with choir. It's just like I only have like a because I used to be in choir back in high school, so
Hmm.
I kind of get it. It's just like I cannot go that low. I'm more of like a high voice speaker. That's just kind of how my voice operates.
Yeah. Yeah. You operate within your means.
All right, time for the Poppy Playtime official questions. The best questions. So what is your favorite chapter of Poppy Playtime?
I'm gonna be biased when I say this. Well, actually, hmm. I'm only gonna say chapter 4, and the reason why I say that because what was it? The teaser trailer for the Doctor that dropped like before chapter 4, because when it was like, the minds of men are easy to break, you believe mine could be broken too, like that whole trailer kind of sealed it for me.
It was
Like it sealed it.
It was a great trailer, but I gotta keep it a buck with you. I was not a fan of that chapter. And
I understand that.
it wasn't because of like any voice acting job or anything like that. Like the premise was good. I just feel like chapter 4 was kind of rushed.
You see, I agree with you on that.
I and like I really didn't like the Doctor design. I liked the robots. I think they were amazing, but like from how they were playing it off, they were playing it as if Harley Sawyer was a robot, not a brain in a jar. So
That makes sense.
I was like really excited because I was like, oh my god, this is going to be a sick villain, and then he's a brain in a jar. Now he's still one of my favorite indie villains of all time. It's just I wish that his design was different.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. I remember when chapter 3 was released, I saw concept art. So did you see the concept art that Amber did?
Which the
Or it may have
Doctor?
not been Amber per se. Yeah,
Yes.
there were a couple of designs. It was like with him with the green eye and whatnot.
I also saw one where like he had like
And
organs and like a containment unit inside of his like stomach. I thought that was really cool too.
yes. No, oh my bad. It wasn't Amber. It was Robert Coe. And I remember seeing that design for the Doctor, and I'm thinking, yo, I'm intrigued, because again, like the green eye, like it's striking. Not to say I don't like the purple, but like the organs, the stitched up lab coat. I know they, use that, but
Yeah.
I just what
Honestly,
I'm saying. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was heated when I found out that they didn't use like barely any of those concepts. I was heated.
I so I understand when you say that it was rushed, because like I know even for when the player inserts the card to defeat the Doctor in the initial release, you couldn't, like, you could move around and everything,
Oh yeah,
but
I
there's a
saw that.
patch later, because I remember people would run out of the, I guess, the center, and they wouldn't hear like his final lines, and I'm just like, great, fantastic.
Honestly,
Yeah.
the entire Doctor section just really stumped me, and I was getting kind of pissed because I didn't remember that I could drop items with the grab pack, so
Mm.
I was stuck on that section for like an hour trying to figure it out. It was great, but I don't know. I just kind of wish Chapter 4 had definitely a little bit more time to kind of flesh out some of those issues. I also found that the prison section was very underutilized, especially because they were kind of hyping it up to be the next big location, and we only spent like 20 to maybe 25 minutes in it. Really sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was really excited for the prison. I think it would have been a cool way. Like, I mean, I like in my game, and I don't really care if I say this. I got a prison, and I got plans to add like a solitary wing, which I think is gonna be fun. There's gonna be all sorts of different wings,
Okay.
and I think that would have suited Poppy Playtime so good. Is to have like a solitary wing and like all these different like wings of the prison and just make the prison bigger. I mean, Mob clearly has the money. I mean, excuse me. Playtime Co. clearly has the money to do it. So, I mean, did you see Playcare? I mean, that had to cost like well over $1 billion to make.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
you're right.
that's not including the costs of hiring the people to make the place. There's just there's a lot that they could have done with chapter 4 to make it better. And definitely a very controversial chapter. I think a lot of people just really did not like that chapter as much. But even so, I would still replay it time and time again because I like Poppy Playtime and I think it's really good. Really good. It's a fine chapter at best.
I understand that.
All right. Here's a fun question. How do you feel about the Doctor returning for chapter 6?
I'm happy he's coming back. I was afraid that he was going to be like DogDay because I remember I asked Amber one time, I was like, hey, is DogDay coming back in the future? And she was like, no, DogDay's dead. I'm like, damn.
Damn.
So I'm happy he's coming back.
But funny you say that because there's people theorizing that DogDay is still alive. I'm just like, I don't know about that one. I don't know.
Listen, Amber's is official.
That
I
is
was
true.
hoping that DogDay was alive.
I was kind of also hoping that because that would be an interesting twist of events, but it just wouldn't make sense in the Poppy story to bring him back.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. I will say, in my personal opinion, I didn't. I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about the Doctor coming back. Because as I said, I feel like, he was kind of underutilized in chapter 4. And
Agreed.
so bringing him back in chapter 6 it kind of just feels like a desperate mood. I'm not saying I'm not saying that that is the case. It just kind of feels like why is he all of a sudden coming back? But more looking into it, it kind of does make sense. I mean, he probably definitely had his own backup just in case someone did unplug him from the machine.
Oh, I can actually explain that. So the reason why the Doctor is coming back, well, at least has that backup, it wasn't because of him. It was because of Leith Pierre.
What?
Yeah. So there's actually a note where, hold up, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to read it out to you. Hold on. Poppy Playtime 5 Leith note. Because Leith made a thing to Dr. White. And hold up, I'm trying to find it. Because it was one of the notes that he had personal letter, experiment notes. I'm trying to remember where it was. But basically, he told. I'm sorry, give me one quick second. Letter to Leith. I think it may have been letter to Leith. No, that's a letter to Leith. But essentially, oh, wait, here it is. Letter to Leith. It's basically to Dr. White because Dr. Leith was like, not Dr. Leith. Dr. Leith said Leith. And this is letter to Leith number 2. Leith, given the sensitive nature of this subject, I suggest we make use of the neural mapper. We can run the process in parallel with normal procedure, having one of the resulting versions put to work and the other stored somewhere for safekeeping. Hell, shove it in with the computer servers and call it a day. No need to be fancy about it. Dr. White.
Oh my
Do
God.
it. Leith Pierre. So
I didn't think about that because I remember that note specifically, and I thought they were just talking about the mapper in the lab area or whatever. That's that's actually crazy. Hold on, let me take a little gander at this. Hold on. Whoa.
yeah, man.
Interesting. I'm fascinated now. I guess it does make sense in a way. Very, very interesting. Well, then, I guess there is a public for him to come back. I mean, it was gonna happen eventually, either way, but...
Yeah. I'm just glad that I'm glad that he's coming back, and all of this does make sense because, like, again, like what this is like the late '90s and everything, whatnot, where all of this is happening. You don't want to be the fact that you don't have a backup.
That is true. That imagine just like the entire like company shuts down because of like there's just no computer system, no way to keep track of
Yep.
anything.
Yep.
Man, that's actually a really interesting. I guess I never really looked too much into it because like I was too caught off guard by the prototype chase and everything like that that I just didn't realize that we were in the server room that they were talking about.
Yeah, because this was found. Where was this found? Like, it was found in the server rooms, if I'm correct.
Oh, so I was like right there. Yeah, because I never got that note until after and I was playing through it for the second time. I never got that note.
Hmm. That
So
makes sense.
that's crazy. And I'm hoping that they give the doctor more of a role. Funny enough, my friend actually came up with like a really cool idea for chapter 5, which is unfortunate that, it didn't happen because I think it would have been cool. Some people think that, well, this certain friend thought that it would be really cool if the doctor was inside the Omni Hand and talking to us throughout chapter 5. And I think
Hmm.
that would have been sick. Like,
It would have been interesting.
because it makes sense because, like, he's connected to the Omni Hand. So, like, I was thinking, like, if he was going to have a backup in that way, he would back it up into the hand since he's been, like, kind of, protecting it for all this time. Pretty much. And I think it would have been cool. But unfortunately, we lost the hand within the first, like, 20 minutes. I, I'm
Yeah.
I I'm not really sure what the point of getting that Omni hand was, but sure. I think we should have had that a little bit longer, but okay.
It'd be like that.
It does be like that. I'm very interested to see why they cut it so early, but I don't know. I don't think I'll ever get that answer. All right. What is your favorite moment from Poppy Playtime?
The VHS tape when Harley's talking to the warden, and this is during the hour of joy. Literally, it's my favorite moment because I'm a big fan of Batman Arkham City, and I really love was it Corey Burton's performance for Professor Hugo Strange, and the fact I was able to channel those moments into the Harley, like, to Harley's deal with the devil type movement, and it's just like the Omni Hand. If you give it to me, I can open doors, close others, like give you a way right to the exit. Like, that was one of my favorite moments from Chapter 4. Well, just overall Poppy playtime.
I loved that VHS. That was a really interesting because it kind of just explains how he got the Omni Hand, and I'm assuming the Warden is dead. Um, I definitely do not think the Doctor was playing fair, if you will. Pretty sure he just let
Yeah,
the Warden die. that's. I mean, like, come on, the Warden should have known it was coming. Like, why would we trust Harley after everything he has done? Like, he has been torturing toys for years. He was put in a body forcefully by the other higher ups. I mean, I still
yeah.
think that so you remember that slide in chapter 2? I'm pretty sure that's Harley Sawyer's slide. I'm 99% sure that's Harley.
Slide.
Yeah, the slides in chapter 2, after Poppy is grabbed, where you have to jump down a hole, you end up out of a slide. And there's a bunch of slides. Well, one of the slides is missing a bunch of letters.
Oh,
And I'm pretty sure
might
that's
have
Harley
been.
Sawyer. That's the only thing that makes sense. We probably will never get an answer. That's probably going to be one of those things that they probably either forgot about or just don't find the need to answer, because leaving it ambiguous is kind of like something that they'd probably be interested in doing. It's like, ooh, who could it be?
I understand that.
In your opinion, do you think the Doctor is going to help the player or be against the player for Chapter 6? Completely speculative.
It depends. It depends on when the backup was made, or more specifically, because there are two possibilities. Say, for example, if the Doctor does remember everything in chapter 4, fine. Like, oh yeah, like I could see that, like it's a how do I say, a reluctant partnership and everything and whatnot. But if he, say for example, if this is the first time the backup's been active since the creation of it, like in the late 90s, and the backup version of Harley Sawyer, which is still Harley Sawyer, has no knowledge of what his active counterpart did. I would say either way, both would, play the field unless there was like a way for him to get leverage over the player and even the prototype. Because I would say that, like, since they're outside of the Harley, thanks to the player and everything and whatnot, would be able to have some sort of lab access. I'm assuming because the prototype prohibited him from being able to have that prior.
Right.
So I would say, but like if I had to just give a general guess, I feel like Harley would work with the player to a certain point until he's able to get leverage. But I guess the thing that I'm looking at Harley for is his temper, because he does have one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how that will play out. If he remembers everything in chapter 4 by something, yeah, he's going to be livid, but he's going to try and use that anger to pull a fast one of the player. Or say, for example, he was like, the player defeated you in the lab, and I was like, and then you could be like, the lab, you defeated me. There's another copy, Leith Pierre, and then it's just like, I don't know. There's a lot of ways I can go about it. But I would say in order to defeat the prototype, that would be the biggest evil. And by some miracle, if they're able to defeat the prototype, I believe that, like, Harley would, like, after defeating the prototype, Harley would be like, all right, time to get out of here. Bye.
I wonder on if, like, the Harley Sawyer, because we know that the prototype is technically made out of a bunch of tech pieces. What if the Harley Sawyer injects himself into the prototype and he takes over his body, and then that's the final boss? That would
That'd be
be
interesting. I will
that
say that.
that will definitely be something that I actually kind of like. It's just a good way to turn on the player, but also like take over the prototype and destroy him. Because Harley Sawyer, because I don't think you could just defeat the prototype like that, but Harley Sawyer doesn't know how the prototype body works. So it would be easier to fight him in the prototype body than fighting the prototype himself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Do you hope we get a prototype and Doctor fight? Like the Doctor gets his own
It would
body and they
have
fight?
it would have to, because in the body that at least would be regularly available to Sawyer. So say for example, kind of like what he had before in chapter 4. I personally don't think that with that body he would be able to, like, stand toe to toe with the prototype unless he gets something beefier. Otherwise, unfortunately, prototype is going to wash him.
Yeah. Doctor right now just doesn't stand a chance. I mean, literally, we hit the prototype with a train and he was on fire and he still walked away like nothing happened.
Yeah, he tanked that.
He, let me tell you that prototype chase was a nightmare. Because I had no idea that the levers were behind me, so I just sat there dying over and over again for the longest time. I was so annoyed. But now that I know
Yeah,
how to do it, it's actually really fun chase. It's really cool.
I'm glad.
All right, so the closing question. What is your advice for anyone who wants to get into the voice acting space?
Practice, take classes that are affordable. Please, for the love of God, do not pay an arm and a leg. There are resources available. D. Bradley Baker, he made a website named iwannabeavoiceactor.com. I know Steve Bloom has like a subscription thing for his classes. That's, I believe, $25 a month, because before it used to be like a lump sum, but he made it more affordable, thank God. Also, there is a voiceover school called Closing Credits. That is CLOSING credits.com. It's a available online voiceover school. You'll be able to learn from people who are actively in the industry and be able to take classes at an affordable rate. Example, there is a voiceover 101 class that is, well, when I took it, I believe around $150. It may be like 175 now, but that's like 6 weeks of um, classes. And then like when you do the 201 or the 301, it'll be like 12-week course, and it'll be like for like $300 or so, and really connect with fellow creatives, so that way you'll be able to, one, learn from each other, two, be able to connect with each other and work with each other on various different things. That's how I was able to work on Cameraman, because I met Montana, and of course, she's an animator. I'm a voice actor. Animators need portfolio work. Voice actors need portfolio work to show off their range. So being able to work together, that helps. And really just have a willingness to learn. You are always going to be a student in this field. I don't care if someone's 2 years, 5 years, 10, 20, so on and so forth. We're all a student to this field. There's always something that we can learn from each other. And make sure, the one thing I will absolutely say, and this goes above talent, skill, range, all of that, no matter where you are, no matter what project you work on. Because for me, the thing I value above my talent is my cooperativeness. Be easy to work with. Don't have an ego. Because if you are easy to work with, people will remember you. Yeah, you can have a great voice, but you act like a jerk. No one's going to work with you.
Like, always be kind. Use,
Always.
use kindness. Uh, no, but I mean that's 100% reasonable. I mean, I know, especially with the people I've hired for my game, it's like I'm very particular on who I hire now because I want to make sure that they're decent to me, they're decent to, other people on the team, and they're kind and willing to, do what it takes to you know, make it make it their own. I know I have a few people, I kind of let them like kind of choose their own voice that like fits the character, just because I feel like I don't know everything about voice acting quite yet, especially when it comes to games. Is like I don't know what would be a good voice for every character I have, but I do know that, like, I'm really careful to make sure that they they're on the team and they love what they do. Um,
Right.
it's very easy for you to hire because like my worry about hiring people is like I don't want them to just be hired just because they want to voice act. I want them to be hired because they like what they do, they like the character, and they're interested in the craft that they are performing. Um, and I recently kind of had to let a voice actress go, just so then I can, I was more blinded by the fact, and I won't say her name, but I was kind of blinded by the fact of like, oh wow, that's a big voice actress, whatever. But now I genuinely care about like my characters and kind of where they're standing well as that goes. But yeah, definitely gotta be nice and stuff like that when you're getting into this space, I find.
Yeah. Yeah. It matters.
Oh, it absolutely matters because I'm sure that game devs talk all the time. So
Yeah.
you you're not nice to one developer or something, and you're kind of having this ego trip or whatever. They could talk to someone else that you're auditioning for and then say, don't do it. And it's not fun.
At all. At all.
That looks like that reaches the end of our question list. Thank you, Baldwin, for joining us for episode 2 of the Guy Talk. Especially because I know you're a busy man, and I appreciate you going out of your way to try to make this happen. I know I'm not the biggest YouTuber on the planet, but I'm trying to make my way up there, and I just greatly appreciate you just again taking the time to kind of sit down, have this interview. Definitely a lot of information that I was not expecting to get out of this interview. Like the Lace Pierre note, I didn't think about that. But yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
oh,
Seriously. And
absolutely.
I pray that your growth for the channel continues to go upward.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. This was definitely a series I wanted to do for a while. I just never really got around to doing it. But now that I am, I'm glad because I get to talk to amazing people like you, and Elliot. I really like talking to Elliot. So you guys are really helping with the growth. So I greatly appreciate that.
Yeah,
Um,
not a problem, man.
alrighty. Thank you for joining, and I will talk to you later, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. Bye
Thank you
bye.
again, Abram.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining.